greens, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, greens, beans,
All right, boys.
greens, potatoes, tomatoes, chicken.
Welcome in to a special Turkey Day lineup for Daily Fantasy.
Fantasy Turkey Day edition.
little surprise action. We figured with 3 games, that's enough. I mean, crap, if you follow the TikTok channel, we're doing showdowns Mondays, Thursdays, probably going to do one Friday for Black Friday, first one. So it's going to be, with 3, you got to put something together, baby. So I'm excited to talk a little turkey. Also, I don't know if you caught the intro song, but that was bumping. Little Turkey Day music to go along with what we're talking about tonight. So, but we got 3 games coming up on the slate tomorrow. We're filming Wednesday night. You got Packers at Lions. Lions are favored by 2.5, over under 48.5. You got Chiefs at Cowboys. Chiefs favored by 3, 52.5 over under. I'm liking that. Bengals at Ravens. Ravens by 7, 52.5 over under. A lot of high over unders this week, boys. I'm excited about it. So, before we dive in, you guys got anything you want to add to the Turkey Day?
I'll say something real quick, Gabe, if that's all right.
Yeah,
That beans, greens, tomatoes song is going to be playing all day tomorrow in Lamar Jackson's head as he feasts against the Cincinnati defense. So that's all I got to say.
Gabe?
Shout out to all my wounded warriors out there who are fighting sickness heading into Thanksgiving like me. Got healed up last week, and now I'm sick again. So
Back at it. You ain't even got kids. Wait till you have kids.
It's not really helping the kids' case by getting sick.
You have kids, you get them in daycare, next thing you know, everybody's getting sick every other week. It's awful. But I digress. But before we dive in, boys, I'm thankful for y'all. This has been fun. It's been an awesome 1.5, 2 year journey. Those that have been following us with us, it's been awesome. Breeze, shout out to you. I love your comments. But just wanted to say thanks for you guys. Excited for tonight. Let's dive in, baby. QB values. I will so before we start, obviously this is going to look a little bit different. There's not a lot of options out there. High ownership can kind of ignore that. You can fade it a little bit, but there's not a lot of options. So you kind of got to go with what you got. We're going to talk about 1 to 2 guys each max, and then maybe have a little discussion about maybe some other value plays that might be out there. But Gabe, I'll let you start at the quarterback value that you see for our Turkey Day.
Yeah, I don't necessarily love a lot of the plays this weekend, value-wise, since the slate is so tiny. But at quarterback, there's 2 guys that I think still you could find a little bit of value in them due to their recent production. I think the first one is Patrick Mahomes. And it's pretty obvious that Dallas' defense has been bad this year, but they really improved on the front 7, especially with the addition of Quinnen Williams.
Yeah.
So I don't really like the run game with Kansas City. I think they're going to have to move the ball through the air if they're going to score. So I think that's where I'm kind of where I'm leaning in towards for my quarterback play this week with a full arsenal of healthy receivers. Yeah, I do think Dallas will move the ball against Kansas City's defense with the way Pickens is playing and CeeDee Lamb. It seems like they're hitting on all cylinders, especially after coming off that Philadelphia game. But I do think the over-under in that game being 52 is legitimate, and I think there will be a lot of points scored. And everybody knows that offense runs through Pat Mahomes and what he does through the air. And, Dallas' defense is still pretty suspect through the air, as you saw against Philly with Hurts throwing. I think Hurts threw 3 touchdowns, 2 to A.J. Brown and 1 to somebody else. Is that correct? Or no, he ran one.
He ran one.
Yeah. So he threw 2, ran 1.
Yeah.
So quarterback play versus Dallas, still a great play. And then my second one, coming back from injury, and that's Joe Burrow. We don't really have a large sample size this year to say, how well has he been playing. So let's just look back at last year and what he did last year. He averaged 290 passing yards a game and 2+ passing touchdowns. And he's cheaper than Pat Mahomes on this slate against the Baltimore defense that's kind of struggled a little bit through the air as well. And I think Kyle Hamilton went out last week, their strong safety. If he's out this week, that's a big loss for the Baltimore defense in the air. I have to check on that, but I think that is correct. So, 43 touchdowns to 9 interceptions last year for Joe Burrow. Just a stud. He's got Chase back. Higgins is out. Not really a big out for me for Higgins. I don't really like that. I don't like T. Higgins, to be honest with you. He's not a friend of the pod. And then Mike is back. So Joe Burrow have all his weapons back. I like Joe Burrow too.
Perfect. Cole, what you got?
Oh, your mic's off. Can't hear you.
Sorry about that, people. Let me adjust the mic here. Oh, Lord. Perfect, huh? Just what we needed. Thanksgiving special. But, there we go. All right. So, yeah, Joe Burrow at 6,000 against Baltimore is the play I like. It's his first game off the IR. He's only played in 2 so far this year. Jamar Chase is back. Chase Brown's there. Andre Ucevich is a sneaky good target for Joe Burrow. We'll get to him later. Baltimore's defense is 24th in passing yards allowed, which is basically all Cincinnati can or likes to do is pass the ball, especially with Joe Burrow. And they're also 24th in total yards allowed, so they can get got. And if Kyle Hamilton's out, I really like that matchup, especially for big plays over the top with Jamar. So that's my one quarterback I got. I try to stick it with one player for this whole pod. So
Gotcha.
Flo,
Sweet.
what you got?
Well, I'm a nerd. I did a deep dive for the 3-game slate because I didn't get the memo that we were doing one guy. So I've got a safe play and a risky play for this week's podcast for Thanksgiving. Safe play, Gabe hit him, Mahomes. I think there's excellent value there at 6,500 against Dallas. Cowboys allow the third highest passing yards per game at 252.3. They're 32nd to the quarterback position in fantasy. And if you look at Mahomes' stats over the last 8 games, he's thrown for over 250 yards in each of those 8 games. He's been a solid runner as well this season with 318 yards on the ground and 4 rushing touchdowns. I think with his ability to run and the defense of the Dallas Cowboys, I think there's a high floor for Mahomes. Hey, we're only 13 weeks into this, and I'm finally getting the high floor right. So we're doing some good things over here. But I think the safe play is Mahomes for sure. I'm sure he's going to be high ownership, but I do like his play against the Dallas defense. The risky play for me here, or maybe not risky, but just a little bit more suspect, is going to be Jordan Love at 5,500. One of the cheaper quarterbacks in the Thanksgiving slate at Detroit, which is inside in the Dome. 11 games. This is why it's risky. It's boom or bust with Jordan Love. 11 games this season. He's had, in 6 of them, he's been under 200 passing yards. And he's had 3 straight under 200. So he's a little bit lower. I think he'd be a lower owned player. But I do like the potential there because if you saw Jameis Winston last week, friend of the pod, we love Jameis, but he threw for like 360 last week. And if you've watched Detroit this year, which I've watched a lot of Detroit games because they're prime time, they're susceptible. They allow quarterbacks, not every week, but from time to time to go off. Will they do it 2 weeks in a row? I don't know. But I do like the potential there because I don't think Detroit's defense is as good as it shows on paper. And the flip side is if you look at Detroit, they're the second most points per game at 29.6 in the NFL. I think it's going to be high scoring. Even though Green Bay's defense is good, I think they're going to find points. And I think Green Bay is going to have to keep up with them. So I think that's kind of my sneaky play this week at 5,500. He's a riskier play than Mahomes, but I will have Jordan Love in some lineups this weekend. You'll have thoughts on that or thoughts on any other quarterbacks before we jump?
You could maybe make a case for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
The way he's playing, he has been honestly just as good, if not better, than Pat Mahomes this year with his production. At 23 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and Pat Mahomes is at 18 touchdowns to 7 interceptions, and their yardage is
Yeah.
pretty much the same. So, I mean, you're getting Dak Prescott at a cheaper price than Pat Mahomes, but there's a little bit of a vulture aspect to Devontae Williams in that offense. That's a good segue into the running back segment,
Yeah.
talking about Devontae Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start off the running back because I'm going to talk about one that's also going to talk a little bit about a quarterback as well. But my number one pick this week is Derrick Henry at 7,300 versus Cincinnati, who is 32nd last place in the league to fantasy running backs, averaging an astonishing 35.4 points per game. So that's kind of crazy. And I think, and this is why I like Derrick Henry this week, is obviously the matchup. But I think, too, Lamar Jackson has not been Lamar Jackson since coming back from his injury. I think his ability to run the ball has been limited. He has not thrown the ball super well. So I really think that this is a game where they can be like, hey, Derek, go beat Tractor Cito, go dominate, see if you can pull this one out, because we're still limping along with Lamar trying to figure out his health situation. So the question mark for Lamar's health, to me, makes me want to go Derrick Henry. And if you look at the last 2 weeks, he's had 3 touchdowns in the past 2 weeks, and he's also run for over 100 yards in a game as well. So I do like Derrick Henry, very touchdown dependent. He's going to be a boomer bust guy just because he's not super effective in the pass catching game. But I think if Lamar truly is limited, I think Derrick Henry is a great play this week. And then the second guy I've got this week is Chase Brown at 6,500 against Baltimore, who is 21st to the running back position, allowing 24.2 fantasy points per game, which, again, think about how much Cincinnati is allowing 35.4, and Baltimore, who's in the bottom third, is allowing 24.2, if that shows you how bad Cincinnati's defense is. But Chase Brown, 4 straight weeks of 15-plus fantasy points. Baltimore allows 117.5 yards per game. And they also, sneaky information here is they allow 4.45 receptions per game to the running back position. So I think there's, with Chase's ability to catch the ball, you look in the last couple weeks, it's been I wrote down wrong. I wrote Gibbs information down, sorry. But you look at his ability throughout the year, he can catch the ball. He's always been an excellent pass catcher. With the 4.45 receptions to the running back position, I think he's a sneaky play this week at 6,500. Those are the 2 guys I've got. Hopefully you have something a little bit different. If not, we can take a deep dive on maybe some of the other running backs. But I'll pass it on to Gabriel. What you got?
Yeah. So I don't have all I have is Chase Brown. I don't have any other running backs really from a value standpoint now that Josh Jacobs has been active in the game.
Right.
Besides that, I would have said Emmanuel Wilson, also Pacheco's back, so I don't really have a Kansas City running back that I'm like, this is the guy you have to start.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was going to kind of focus on was strategy when you're building your lineup between Baltimore versus Cincinnati, because I think the best option is going to be Derrick Henry, but that's going to come with some high ownership, so you kind of have to eat that if you want to start Derrick Henry. And the way I look at it is, looking at the top tier quarterbacks, you got Lamar, Patty, Burrow, and Dak Prescott. But let's just focus on the 3: Patty, Lamar, and Burrow, and those 3. The way I see it, the highest upside guy I think out of all of those really is Lamar Jackson, due to his rushing ability. And what happens whenever Lamar Jackson gets going on the ground is it limits Derrick Henry's upside.
Yeah.
So you have to think, with a play like Derrick being so chalky and so heavily played against the 32nd ranked run defense, where does that kind of leave Lamar Jackson? And you could maybe go full onslaught Baltimore lineup with Lamar and Derrick Henry if you wanted to, but with Derrick Henry's price steadily going up at 7,300, he needs 21 points. Just looking at his past few games, he's ran for 100 yards in 2 out of his last 5, and he's also scored 5 touchdowns in his last 5 games. So he's playing well, and he's back to scoring touchdowns. He went through a little dry spell when Lamar went out. So they're moving the ball well. I think there's an opportunity to start both Lamar and Derrick Henry is what I'm saying. But if you really want to separate yourself, you could just put Lamar in and hope he scores the rushing touchdowns, and Derrick Henry just runs for 100 and has no touchdowns. Because even if he runs for 100 with no touchdowns, he's only at like 13 points, and that's well below his 21. You have to hope Derrick Henry scores 1, if not 2 touchdowns against that stat.
Yeah, and I'll to echo to you a couple weeks ago, because I've got Lamar in season long, and Derrick did not get the touchdown, had the yardage, but Lamar threw for 4 touchdowns and Derrick had 0. So it could be definitely a good zag play with Lamar there instead of Derrick Henry, because we know that Derrick Henry's ownership is going to be high. So I definitely like that call there, Gabe, for sure.
Cole, what do you got?
You guys didn't mention one time, and I'm shocked. Kareem Hunt at 5,300.
I mentioned Pacheco's back, so I kind of...
Yeah, but Pacheco is back. But Andy Reid said he's not sure how much he's going to play with that knee injury. So that makes me assume Kareem Hunt, coming off a 24-point performance last week, is going to get most of the touches again at Dallas. Dallas's defense has improved, but they're not stout. With the addition of Quinnen Williams, they've kind of shored up that offensive line a little bit. So the run defense has improved, but the back end's obviously not improved, not as much improved since the trade deadline. But it is scary with Pacheco back. Maybe Pacheco back, he might look better. But Dallas is 25th against running backs and 22nd in rushing yards allowed. So I'm expecting Kareem Hunt to have a big day, especially with his pass catching ability. Another person I like is David Montgomery. I think he's going to be an anytime touchdown scorer this week, tomorrow.
That's a bold one, because I have David in season long, and he has quickly found his way to the bench.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, didn't he have like 3 touchdowns last year on Thanksgiving?
I think you're right. I think they
he
paid
did.
like Chicago, and that's why his old team.
Yeah. So maybe they do it again. But I like David Montgomery. I think he's a good play for an anytime touchdown score tomorrow. And those are my 2 running backs that I really like. Derrick Henry's interesting. I would definitely look into it. I mean, that Cincinnati defense is so bad. I'm expecting that game to be like a basketball game, just up and down, up and down, up and down all night. But with that being said, final scores be 14-10. So be prepared for it. So those are my 2 running backs that I really like. Derrick Henry's not a bad play. I mean, yeah, you're kind of scared with Lamar Jackson's ability, and maybe he puts it all together, but Derrick Henry's going to get the touches regardless. So,
yeah,
especially at the goal line. So that's all I've got for running backs. I don't know about y'all.
I like it.
We'll say this: the Bengals traded that linebacker to Dallas, one of their better players. Yeah, so their front seven for Cincinnati is absolutely destroyed. So I think last thing I'll say
is cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving.
Terrible. Yeah,
cranberry sauce on Thanksgiving. Terrible.
Hot take, my friend.
Hot take.
I think if you're going to build a lot of lineups around Derrick Henry, I think you'll have to steer clear of Lamar.
I agree. I agree.
Just because you're expecting Derrick Henry to score a lot. So that's it. That's all I got.
Sweet. This is where it gets fun. Receiver. I think there is some value out there at receiver. Cole, you have not started a segment. I'll hand this off to you, brother. What you got?
My one guy that I mentioned earlier is Andre Yosivas at 4,300 against Baltimore with T. Higgins out. Burrow's formed a great connection with him. He's actually 4th. I think it's either 4th or 5th out of the receivers in receptions, yards, and touchdowns with Joe Burrow playing. With Joe Burrow playing, he's had 41 receptions. It's either my handwriting's a little spotty. I'm gonna shoot with 514 yards and 8 touchdowns. It may be 814 yards. I don't know why. I think it's 5, but at 8 touchdowns.
You're right.
Huh?
I think you're right. It's 5.
Yeah, I think it's 5. But more attention on Jamar Chase. And so wide receiver 2 is going to be Andre. I think with that attention being focused on Jamar, Andre is going to be able to get open and make some plays at 4. I mean, it's 4,300, so it's a safe play, or not a safe play, but a value play for a wide receiver 2. And that's the only guy I've really got that I wrote down. I was going to go off of what you guys say for y'all's next picks. I'm going with the stars at receiver this week. I've got CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase in the one lineup that I've got made for tomorrow. And and Andre Yosivas obviously is a third one. But that's all I've got. I mean, I think the stars go off tomorrow. but Andre's got some potential.
I like it. Gabe, what you got?
Well, do not be fooled by the price drop. CD Lamb below George Pickens. I think whoever made that decision to list CD Lamb below George Pickens, you're
He's an
playing with fire.
idiot.
Because yes, George Pickens has a 1,000-yard receiver this year, but CD Lamb missed I think 3 games this year.
Yeah.
He's 400 yards behind him. He doesn't miss those games. He's the
He's
leading
right
receiver
there.
for the Dallas
Yeah.
Cowboys. So yeah, George Pickens, little recency bias there with him having some good games, but CD Lamb 6,900 will be in every single one of my lineups as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th cheapest receiver on the slate.
Tremendous value.
That's blasphemous to me that he's that cheap.
I wonder what his stats are on Thanksgiving.
He
I
throws
think he
it.
had a good Thanksgiving last year too.
If he lays an egg on me on Thanksgiving before Easter, I'll eat it because 6,900 is way too cheap. That's my first play, and that's all I'll say about that. Is there should not be much discussion about CD Lamb being the cheapest rated receiver, priced receiver.
Hey,
Uh,
before you go to your next receiver, all I can think about is that one lineup early in the year, just so good, and all I can think about is the Breaking Bad meme. Oh God, no! When he twisted his ankle in the first play of the game.
Yeah, that was a brutal Sunday for me. That injury really broke my heart. That was tough to see.
He didn't have a great Thanksgiving last year.
He did not. Well, that's fine. He's gonna have a great one this year.
Okay.
My next 2 plays. These are 2 guys that I've been battling. You know, yin and yang, Jekyll and Hyde. Where do I want to go with the Green Bay pass catchers? Because Matthew Golden's been out. He's been struggling with injuries. Tucker Kraft is out. So you have 2 options below 5,000: Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs. Christian Watson is playing the most snaps between the two. But if you remember early in the season before Watson came back, Dobbs was the guy. He was the number one, and I think they're both getting similar usage in terms of snaps. The problem is they spread the ball around in Green Bay so much, and they kind of want to lean on the run, which I think is the strength of the Detroit defense. I think they have a better run defense than the pass defense, in my opinion. So I think that Jordan Love, like you said, Britton, is going to have to find a way through the air to get the ball moving. And if that's the case, I think that Dobbs is the volume guy. I don't think it's Watson. Dobbs is where Love goes on third downs. He goes in the end zone. It's usually Dobbs. Christian Watson is the big play guy. So that's I think I'm leaning more towards Dobbs at 4,600, even though they're at the same price. I'm leaning more towards Dobbs, but that's just me. And then I don't want to snipe anybody here. I know ESC, like you said, he had 8 touchdowns with Burrow. He had 6 touchdowns last year. I think he had about 600 yards on the year. So I mean, that was with Chase and Higgins both playing like pretty much the entire year last year, and he still had a decent year. Didn't break 1,000 yards, but still had 6 touchdowns. So I mean, I think that's insane value for him against Baltimore. But Britton, I'm gonna let you go because I know you're gonna say this guy, and I don't want to snipe you. And I've already mentioned 2 guys, so
I may not. I'm surprised the last couple weeks.
You will. You'll say this guy. You
All
like
right, so
this guy too.
my first play is Christian Watson, 4,700. I am in the opposite boat of Gabe. I think since he's come back, like Gabe said, leading the team in wide receiver snaps, that's a big win to me. Last week led the team in targets and receptions and yards. So to me, I feel like the chemistry's, Christian Watson's been there for years. He's just been battling injuries. I think he's healthy. I think he's back. I like the play. 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago. He's trending in the right direction. Lions are bottom tier against the receiver position in fantasy, allowing 33.7 fantasy points per game to that position. And we've talked about this a little bit, but I think Script's going to require points in this game, much like it did last week. And if that's the case, you got to pick a receiver. Like you said, throw a dart. Is it going to be Dobbs? Is it going to be Watson? Is it going to be somebody else? I think the value is going to be between Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs. I think you're going to have to make a decision. Gabe made the decision with Dobbs. I want to make the decision with Christian Watson. We'll see who prevails. It'll probably be me. I'll probably be holding the cup at the end of this week with a win because Christian Watson went for 100 yards and a touchdown. So that's my value this week. I'm just kidding. I got a couple more. Andre Acevis, I'm not going to spend too much time on him. Y'all hit him pretty hard, Pauls. The other guy I've got on my list, maybe a surprise. I've got Xavier Worthy at 4,500 against Dallas, who's 31st to the wide receiver position with 39.7 fantasy points to that position. Has not been as productive with Rice coming back, but still an electric player capable of big plays. No touchdowns, 0 touchdowns in the last 5 weeks. The law of averages says that this week he gets a touchdown. So I think he's due one. He finds the end zone. Still getting a decent target share even with Rice there. If you look at his past 4 weeks, 7 targets, 5 targets, 8 targets. So he's averaging about 6.75 targets in that 4-week span. I know that his ankle is the biggest question mark. I know he's cleared. He's playing. He was full participant in practice yesterday and today. So I'm not super concerned about the ankle. I think that this is the game where Xavier Worthy kind of has his breakout performance that he's capable of having and has had, once this season already, but it's been a while since Rice came back. But those are the 3 guys I have on my list at receiver. Gabe, did you have one?
I did, dude. You didn't mention him. I'm surprised. Maybe because he scorned you last week, but Jamison Williams is at 4,800.
He hurt me.
He hurt you.
Yeah.
Bad.
It's crazy. It's crazy. 4,800 coming off 3 consecutive games of 16 or more fantasy points and having a touchdown in all those games. Actually, in that game versus the Giants, he had a 36-yard touchdown called back due to a holding penalty. So he would have had 4 straight had it not been for the holding, which I saw also may have been a BS call, and he should have had a 4 straight games. But that Green Bay Detroit game, I'm not super big on building around it just because it's the lowest over under, and also it's I don't trust Jared Goff as far as I could throw him at this point. But I mean, Jamison Williams at 4,800, he's a boomer bust play, as everybody knows, but he has come alive with Dan Campbell calling plays. So gotta take a look at him. But no, I really like your Xavier Worthy play. I had him written down as well, but I'm big on Rice because he's been so good since he came back. But I was looking at Worthy at 4,500, just thinking to myself, like, man, I mean, if he breaks a big one, like, he could get Rice production at like almost half the price.
Yeah, exactly.
Frees up a lot of salary, but I'm able to still, when you see my lineup, I'm still able to get a pretty solid group of high chalky players without him. So that's kind of why I'm leaning Rice. But yeah, move on.
If I'll say a comment real quick, I'm gonna choose between Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs and be the third party here. It's a really tough decision because Christian Watson's another one of those guys, a lot like Roma Dunze, that looks so much like a prime athlete and has such the potential to be such a good player. It's just maybe the production's starting to come around. But Romeo Dobbs is somebody that's kind of a little more proven than Christian Watson right now. So the safe play would be Romeo Dobbs, but I think the more upside play could be Christian Watson.
Let me tell you right now, neither of those guys are safe. They're maxing out the NFL's medical plan, injury-wise. Those 2 guys, Watson has rubber band hamstrings, and Romeo Dobbs walks around like a bobblehead with his concussion helmet on. Both those guys scare me to death, and I can't trust either one of them tomorrow. So I'm not really starting either of them. But I think if I had to choose one, I would choose Dobbs. But that doesn't mean I'm taking them tomorrow.
Yeah. In between and with the Xavier Worthy pick, he does. I mean, Rashee Rice has obviously limited his production. I'm scared to pick a chief receiver because I feel like this is Travis Kelce's game. I really do.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's segue to tight ends and lead us off. What you got?
Tight ends, going with Mark Andrews, 3,600. So I'm going with the safe pick. Cincinnati is 32nd against tight ends.
It ain't safe, brother. Trust me, I got killed last week.
So Cincinnati's 32nd against tight ends. So 32nd probably against everybody. They're 30. I mean, they're 32nd on getting off the bus on that side of the ball. So yeah, Cincinnati's defense has more holes than a golf course. So I'm expecting Mark Andrews to have a potentially good game, potentially good open. We put the curse on him, like we said. We put the curse on him last week. He had 3 straight double-digit points. We put him on the pod and said he's a friend of the pod, and I think he put
He's
up
not.
like 5.
But
I mean, it wasn't a lot. 2. Oh,
2.8.
well, that's not going to do it, Mark. But he's now a enemy of the pod, terrorist of the pod. But tomorrow we're going to be thankful for him because he's going to score 2 touchdowns. Thanksgiving Day.
There you go, baby. Gabe, what you got?
I had Mark Andrews on my list here.
Golly, did y'all learn nothing from me last week?
Well, I think the way I view it is that Cincinnati is going to score, which is going to ultimately force Lamar Jackson to have to throw to move the ball and keep up. I do think Cincinnati is solid that they can shake off some rust with Burrow and those pass catchers. But getting Mark Andrews at 3,600, I think I still think that's good value in a high scoring game. But I'm not saying that's who I'm starting. I think Mike Gesicki at 3,100 is a pretty sneaky good play. Last year he played really well, and also he played like 50% of the snaps last week, and he's coming off a chest injury. I think the reason for his low snap total last week was just maybe blocking wise, didn't want to re-injure it or something, trying to block some of those DNs or whatever the case may be. He still had 6 targets for 35 yards, and that just shows when he's on the field, they wanted to get him involved without T. Higgins or Chase on the field last week. With both of them with Higgins going down last week and also Chase being out, it was clear they wanted to get Gesicki involved coming off the IR. So I think he's your value guy in terms of tight, like your best value. But like Cole said, Travis Kelce at 5,000 seems like a pretty good play in my opinion. Dallas has been extremely susceptible through the air. They're ranked 17th versus tight ends, about middle of the pack. But dude, it's Thanksgiving. NFL wants to get Travis Kelce on TV. So I wonder if T Swift will be at the game or not.
Oh, she will. They want Travis Kelce biting into that big old turkey leg at the end of the game and looking, like a fool on national
I did
television.
not know where that was going. Oh man! All righty.
No real showstoppers at the tight end position in terms of
Yeah.
like lockdown, solid, 100% set it and forget it production. So you're gonna have to you're gonna have to be like that meme that says I had one dart, and you're gonna have to hope you.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm not thrilled with the tight end options for Thanksgiving Day. Based off my lineup structure, I think I'm likely to pick Kelce here. Probably the safest play of the slate. He's had 19 targets in the last 2 weeks. Had some good production. I think just based off the way I'm building my lineup, I'm leaning Kelce. I think you can take a stab at some of these other tight ends, but they scare me a little bit. So I think safe-wise, I'm going Kelce here and hoping that Xavier Worthy and Kelce are the guys and not Rashee Rice this week. But
right. Pivot action, a little contrary pivot.
Yeah. It won't matter. Trust me. This year's it's been tough. Been tough. Anybody got anything else on tight end? Yeah, go ahead and do say something about Detroit's tight end situation as well.
Yeah,
Gabe,
I'll say I'll do both. Like Cole said, Mark Andrews has scored 10 or more points in 3 of his last 4 games, but also he has a rushing touchdown in the last 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
He is their push option and their short yardage option. So that's one reason I like Mark Andrews, because if he just gets one of those push touchdowns in the end zone, he's pretty much met his projection already. Yeah. And like I said, Baltimore or Cincinnati's going to have a hard time stopping Baltimore, I think. So there is some significant upside for Mark Andrews. So I like that. Brock Wright and Laporta are both out for Detroit. So you have a few options for Detroit, and I'll hit on them real quick because I don't like any of them. Ross Dwelly, Anthony Fersker, and who the freak is this guy, man? Z Horton, whoever that is. I have no idea. Zach Horton, who just signed from the practice squad, they're at the minimum salary of 2,500. If you want to do a punt and go Ross Dwelly, since he's the only guy that didn't sign from the practice squad, and hope he catches 4 passes and maybe a touchdown, you can. But I am steering clear because I think there's plenty of options around that price with much more solid floors than those guys. But
Yeah,
that's the situation in Detroit.
I like it. Not at all.
Not at all.
All right. Let's jump to core 4 as we kind of wind down this podcast. Cole, your core 4 for the Thanksgiving slate is who?
Yeah, it's just all the guys I mentioned earlier: Joe Burrow, Kareem Hunt, Andre Ioseas, and Mark Andrews. The only 4 guys I wrote down are my core 4 for Thanksgiving.
Shout it out, baby. Gabe, what you got?
It's hard to pick a core 4 with such a limited slate, but I'm gonna go Pat Mahomes, Mark Andrews, and I'm gonna go Chase Brown, and then I'm gonna go with this is a tough one. Who do I go with the last guy? I go Eusebius, I guess. I'll go Eusebius.
Yes. All right, my core 4 for Thanksgiving is Jordan Love, Christian Watson, stacking those boys, Xavier Worthy, and Eosevis. Although I feel like I need to change it because both y'all said Eosevis, and I need points in the core 4 side of things. I'm gonna stay. I'll stay at Eosevis. This is his week. Outscores Chase. Just kidding. Just kidding. Hey, great call by you last week though on him outscoring Higgins. Well done. Let's jump to Cole. Would you like to cue me up with a little Will Ferrell as we jump into this next segment?
Some Thanksgiving plum action.
Just a little action.
All right, we ready? Here we go.
Ready.
Can you feel the tension in the air right now? I know I can. I can feel it all the way down in my plums. Can you feel the tension?
I can feel it, boys. Plum pick of the week, Xavier Worthy, 4,500.
That's a really good one.
Gabe.
Yeah, I'm going plum pick, even though I hate this game. I'm going with Romeo Dobbs. But everybody's going Christian. I'm going
Dang,
Dobbs.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Cole, what you got?
I've got Mark Andrews going for 2 touchdowns. I feel it.
Ooh.
That's pretty interesting, though, that you have Derrick Henry in your tush-push options, Mark Andrews. But
Yeah, no.
not the coach. Not the coach.
Yeah.
I think if I had Derrick Henry, I would just line him up in the Wildcat and have him catch a short shotgun snap, and just run straight.
I think the ideal scenario this weekend is a jump past Derrick Henry touchdown to Mark Andrews.
No doubt.
That's not a bad play. Not a bad play there.
Hey, Harbaugh, you heard it here first. Run it.
Yeah. Run it.
Dial it up.
Run it. AI optimal lineups for Thanksgiving. Obviously, less options, so this is going to be a lower number. It's projected at 120.3 fantasy points, but you have Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Jahmyr Gibbs, Xavier Worthy. Is it Ryan Flournoy?
Flournoy,
Yep. Pickens, Noah Fant, Josh Jacobs, and the Packers defense / special teams. But now to the moneymakers are optimal lineups because we don't miss here at the print. Just kidding. I missed bad last week on Mark Andrews. So, Gabe, start us off with your optimal lineup for Thanksgiving.
All right, I'm going to go with Pat Mahomes at the quarterback position, and then I'm going to go with Chase Brown at 6,500, then Derrick Henry, C.D. Lamb, 6,900, Rashee Rice, 7,500, Jamison Williams, 4,800, Mark Andrews, 3,600, Eosevis in the flex with the Green Bay defense. I'm going real heavy on the 3:30 games. Real heavy.
Heavy. Oh, man. All right, Cole, give me your optimal lineup. I see. Well, let me go because I can see you tinkering with your soundboard over there. So I got us. my optimal lineup for this week is Jordan Love, Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, Christian Watson, Xavier Worthy, Eosivas, Kelsey, Gibbs, and the Green. Actually, I changed it to the Ravens defense. I needed to spend some money, so I figured I'd spend up on a defense. But I'm going low at the wide receiver position, going heavy at the running back position this week with Derrick Henry, Gibbs, and Brown. Cole, I hope you're ready now. I hope I bought you enough time. Go ahead and let it rip.
Yeah, I've got Joe Burrow at the quarterback position, 6,000. I got Jameer Gibbs at 8,800. Got Kareem Hunt at 5,300. Jamar Chase. Andre Yusof, yes, 4,300. CeeDee Lamb, 6,900. Mark Andrews at tight end. David Montgomery at the flex. And the Cincinnati Bengals, 2,200.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, thank you for that, Dolores. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Wow. We're real serious over here at the print, baby. I love it. But that's kind of, it's kind of where we're at for this Thanksgiving. We'll be back on Friday night, probably have a podcast posted Saturday morning for the Sunday afternoon slate. So kind of stay tuned for that. We'll take a deeper dive on that slate because we actually have 10 games. So 20 teams to talk about during that slate. So quite a few more value opportunities. But hope everybody has a awesome Thanksgiving. Enjoy being around family, friends, and just take a moment to be thankful. Thankful for the print. What you guys got before we close out? Anything? All right.
Stay for the giveaways. The hoodie.
Stay strapped. All right. Happy Thanksgiving. See you guys.
Tomatoes, chicken, turkey.